Ashe, Ashe, a grand rising, a grand and a beautiful day to you all once again, my fellow natural, native, earthly humans. Yes, you, my natural humans, not the artificial ones. And welcome back to this here part 6 of another perspective, analysis and interpretation of the very famous prose poem called Desiderata by the late Max Ehrmann. Yes, you don't know that it is yours truly, I, the Mystic Philosopher, along with, of course, I call her my companion. Yes, this, my old Bax guitar, along with, of course, my chirping bird sounds here, chirping and echoing the melodious, natural, healing, comforting, therapeutic sounds in the background and in the foreground and all around. Yours truly, I, the Mystic P. Now, just to remind you, my dear beloved people, just to remind you that if you haven't yet watched or listened to part 1 through to part 5, and possibly in that sequence of this series of talks, I will suggest that you please do so before you continue to watch this part 6, or that you do so as soon as you finish watching this here part 6, or as soon as possible. To me, it's like, as I oftentimes like to remind you, that it is like reading a book. You will get more, you get more understanding, and overstanding of what the author of the book is trying to convey, or is conveying, or is saying when you tackle a book, or you read a book from start to finish, from beginning to the end. So, in my previous episodes, you no doubt would have heard me focus a lot on the word go. I told you a lot about the word go, and I even asked you to think on the word go. Give it some thought. To meditate on the word go, to focus on the word go, and contemplate the word go. I told you that from my perspective, Max Ehrmann was telling or ordering his daughter to go. To do what? To go out and into the world, the real world, if you will. And I am telling some of you, my listeners, well-wishers and watchers right now, to go out into the real world. A world which I shall shortly describe from my perspective for you. And why? Because from my observation, my Mystic observation and perspective, a lot of you are still living at home. In fact, the evidence will no doubt show and prove that a lot of you are still living in the womb, figuratively speaking, of course, which is the safest place to be. Home, meaning your comfort zone, your safe zone, your secured space, a space where you are sheltered, literally sheltered and protected. A lot of you don't know, let alone have the practical experience as to how to survive in the real world. A lot of you are still locked up in the cocoon of your mind, all because of fear of the real world. A lot of you don't know, let alone have any experience of what is happening in the real world. Unfortunately, we train, and some of us are training our children to be locked up at home as well. But that is another subject, another topic for discussion and for another time. But before I continue with this here part 6 and talk a bit more about the word go, and just before I go, just before I go on to the words noise and haste, I would just like to answer a question that was asked of me in the form of a comment. Someone said to me that I am trying to make a big deal out of the word go by saying that it is one of the most powerful words in the English language, which to him is just another word. Go is just an ordinary, not just another word, but just an ordinary word. Well, the truth be told, or if, from my perspective, if or when all things are considered rationally, there is really no such thing as an ordinary word. That's my perspective. From my perspective, the fact is, and the evidence will also show and confirm, that the careless use, the accidental use, or the intentional use of the word go can cause very serious offenses. It can start a war. And no doubt the evidence will show that the word go has started many wars. It can start mental and emotional disturbances and distresses. It can send you to prison. It can create enemies for life. And it can cause many people to go over the edge. It can cause you to lose your life. Yes, the careless use of the word go can cause someone to lose their life. For example, if I were to say to that gentleman, if I was to say to him, go fill in the blank your mother, especially if he's a Jamaican, it could cost my life. It could cause serious rupture. And most of you know what I'm talking about. So don't play with the word go. It's powerful. However, the thoughtful, careful, and caring use of the word go, as can be seen done here in Desiderata, can, will, and does have the opposite effect. And thus it is written by the ancient sage and philosopher called Solomon. And I quote, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. That is according to the book Proverbs 18 and verse 21. And that is from the New King James Version. So, very fatherly, very thoughtfully, very carefully, very lovingly, and very caringly, Max Ehrmann, in the very first stanza of Desiderata, said to his daughter, go. And so I ended part 5 by asking the following questions. And what is the real world? In all practical reality, what is the world? Or how did he, or Desiderata, describe the real world to which she, Max Ehrmann daughter, must go, and that she must now enter into? It is hereby described as a place of noise and haste. So here we can see that very fatherly, very thoughtfully, very carefully, very lovingly, and very caringly, Max Ehrmann, in the very first stanza of Desiderata, said to his daughter, go. Here he is saying, my child, Amidst the noise and haste, you must go. And what is really, truly meant by noise and haste? Or, in all practicality, what does noise and haste truly represent? Now, please stay tuned for the answer from my perspective and interpretation and insight in part 7. So again, I say, please join me again tomorrow for part 7 if I am gifted with another day, and one in which I continue to experience in full joy, good health, full experience and good joy, freedom and full joy, freedom, safety, and good relationships, and good wishes with people like you, all my listeners and well-wishers. Join me in the morrow when and where I will continue to share some more of my perspective, my analysis and interpretations, and insights, if you will, of Desiderata, aka another perspective and interpretation of Desiderata by yours truly, I, the Mystic Philosopher. In the meantime and between time, I ask that you continue to think and meditate some more on the word go. And lively up yourself. Full joy yourself and be more and more. In your becoming, be more and more and more and much, much more. And definitely not be less. Don't be less, aka bless. For I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe. 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 Ashe, I say.